Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart.
Yeah.
And then there's me, Jeanette, your mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay, listeners, we're back again. We had a quiet area, a quiet place. That movie, A Quiet Place. We had a quiet patch there. I was able to upload an episode last week, and there's two reasons. One being I was very busy at work and could not upload our recorded episodes, our backlog of episodes. And when I did have time to back upload our episodes and edit them, I had some technical difficulties. Like we lost an episode. So unfortunately, we had some good things that we wanted to talk about and we lost it. But anyway, the other one was still
such as
salvageable.
Right?
And that's what you saw when we were talking about the pre-Grammys and everything. And so just to give our listeners some transparency, this is a independent business. We don't have any third party helping us yet. So sometimes we just run into issues like that. But thanks for sticking with us.
Life is life in people.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Shit happens. Shit happens. But we're back and we're happy to be back. And we couldn't let Black History Month go. We're recording on the last day of Black History Month.
But you said it yesterday, better late than never.
Yes, and our Black History episode is always decent. We always like to do something a little special and have a really great discussion. So that's what we're going to do on this episode, on top of a couple of headlines. But we're definitely going to acknowledge and discuss Black History Month. But before we do any of that, let's just start with our checkup.
Yes.
And so Kimmy, how was your week?
Well, my week and my month has been okay.
That's good.
Pretty good. Some challenging things at work, but I guess the harder part is kind of over. I'm just waiting to hear back about more. But either way, work's been working. You know what I mean? Working on my last nerve. That's what it's doing. But overall, family's healthy. We're okay. We're getting through the winter, and it's been a rough one this February. Feels like we've been hit left, right, and center. Like every time we think we have a breath, it's like, oh no, don't breathe too hard. But overall, this week particularly felt extremely long because it was a really busy week for me and my daughter. And so it just, I'm just glad it's over. And I'm looking forward to another one. Overall, I'm all right, just doing this adulting thing and everything. Hoping for the spring. I'm looking forward to the spring and for the summer, trying to put together some plans, try to put together some things that we could do to look forward to.
Nice, yes.
So I've been starting to think about certain things of what we should do. And this past week,
I'm proud of you because honestly,
I'm trying, girl.
Because I know, and doesn't just go for you. I think it's a lot of people. In that, like, it's like we just, especially in our country, in a place where we have winter, where we just kind of just get through it, and then all of a sudden summer's here, and it's like you have to scramble. And like, some people have their annual plans. You have the cottage, you have maybe they go family in different places, then so they already kind of have their summer plans baked in. But to your point, there's so much even within our city.
There's so much to do.
There's so much to do, but like you said, especially since you have a kid, you can and you work full time, you have to like plan. You have to plan that. You have to put it in the calendar. You have to, I have to
really make a point to do, because you know what? I don't know what I was saying this actually to my husband. I was saying last year I felt like I didn't have a summer, because when you work in a corporate environment, like you're in the office or you're by a computer, and a computer, you can take it out and go places, but you still have to be able to be connected to Wi-Fi or whatever. So it limits how much you can do. And I felt like last year I was constantly going from one inside to another inside.
You didn't get to enjoy summer outside.
No, I didn't feel like it. And so this year I'm like, nah, fam. We're not doing that. Okay?
Okay,
We're
I'm
not
proud of
doing
you. I'm
that.
proud of you. I know
I
you
have
did
to
say
make
something
a
like that.
point to
I'm
do,
proud of
like,
that.
I want to do more. I want,
Hmm.
even if it's just in my immediate community,
Of course, yeah.
even then,
That's
like, I
still
just want to
something.
do more. I want to get more sunshine. I want to be more active. I was telling my mom that the other day, and she's like,
Hmm.
"Oh yes, yes, you should try the gym." Her idea of
Her
active
active
is
is
the
the
gym,
gym. Hmm.
and it is. Like, don't get me wrong, but the gym is not for everybody, and I'm
Hmm.
sorry, but it ain't for me. So for
Hmm.
me, I like to be active and do things
Outside,
and
like
have
doing things is your way of being
experiences.
active. Yeah, go out.
Exactly, right? Even if it's just walking on a path that's different than I walked
Yeah,
last week, or
that is active.
just something, girl, and
Well,
enjoy the sun rays and not feel like I'm just strapped inside, like I'm stuck inside. Like, the air conditioning cold. Yeah, I
the
don't want the
air,
air
yeah, the
conditioning
recycled
cold.
air.
I don't want that cold, because every year, like, yeah, anyway,
Mhm.
so back to my
Anyway, yeah,
point as
you've
I
been doing some
digress.
planning for your summer, which
Yeah, like,
is
get
pretty
get
cool.
get it together. Like, get it together. Like,
No,
I
and
have
honestly,
to.
you have to. So I'm
I
actually
have to, and I have
you're
to make a
being.
point because my daughter is getting older. She's going to be 13 this
Mm,
July. And I'm like, I feel like I've just been on the go, go, go all of her life, where I haven't
mhm.
actually been able to show her all the things that I wanted to show her.
Yes,
And
yes.
I don't know. It's funny because, I'm digressing again. But the point is
No,
that
we're
I'm
talking
trying
about
to
we're
put it,
checking in. So
right? I'm trying to put it together
this is what's been
because
on your mind.
it
So
has been. Like, I just think about all the things by the age that my daughter is now. She's going to be
mhm,
13. How many things my parents did with me before I was
mhm,
13.
mhm,
And I feel like I'm lacking,
mm,
and I feel like I have to catch up. And time is flying now. And,
yeah.
she's going to be a teen. And before you know it, like, God forbid it, but she might not want to do anything with
Well, no, well,
me,
no, but that's exactly the
right?
fear.
Or she might not have time, because then she'll have other curricular activities
It's a
and high
very
school
valid
and
fear.
friends. And I just feel like before I blink, the time will be gone. And so I don't want it to be without having memories to look
Yeah,
back on. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. Like, I'm really trying to focus on finding things, or like creating a different schedule for myself for the
yeah.
summertime,
Hmm.
making it a point to do this or go here, or go for a walk on a daily basis. Like, it's a half an hour of your life. Like, it's not going to kill you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just
no,
get
that.
outside.
Yep, yep. I totally like you have to be intentional, and sometimes
Must.
you might get into a rough patch where, like, say you life just work and life just gets hectic and you
Yep.
lose that rhythm. It's a thing. It's
Yeah.
like once you get that, because I know you've done that at some point in time where you
Yeah.
at work and at home you go out. So I know it's just, but even me, you start something, whether no matter what that activity is, right?
Exactly.
Whatever it's
Exactly.
walking, doing home workouts, going to the gym, going to a class, going to a sport, whatever your activity is that you do to get all that extra energy and just get your heart pumping.
Hmm.
Once you sometimes fall off the horse, as they say, sometimes it's
Very
tougher to
difficult,
get back
because
on. It's the worst. It's the
you
worst
you
because
set
every
as
time you're
you
beating
don't
yourself
even
up.
know when you do it, but you
Mhm.
set like a you're in a steady daily rut, because
Yes.
you're constantly doing the same things every single day. I don't like feeling like a robot. Maybe there's
Hmm.
people out here who don't mind that robot feeling, but I just don't like it. And I feel very, when I start to get into that rut, I feel very robotish, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
And so I try to do more humanistic things, like going out for walks, enjoying the sunshine, getting active, being, like, the sun doesn't go down until 9:30. Like, what am I doing inside? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm
Especially in the
saying?
summer. Yeah. Especially in
Like,
the
come
summer.
on. Like, so, but you have to really be intentional. And so I'm trying to, from now. So if
From
that
now,
means
start
we get
now.
into a program, you kind
Yep.
of have to do it from now. You know
Yep.
what I mean? If you want a program for the summer, in the spring is when you kind of sign up for those
Yep.
things.
Exactly.
Right? So these are the things that I'm thinking about. I even tossed out the idea of kickboxing. I was like, hmm.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
think I could do.
You know
I,
what? I always wanted to do not necessarily kickboxing, but boxing with the bag. Well,
right.
they have those classes now. The thing is, they're few and far between. I've looked into it before myself, but here's why I was always like, yes, it's a good way to get out that extra energy, all the annoyances. I feel like it's a good.
Hmm.
Yes, it's active, but I also think it's like a good mental thing. You know?
And a defense thing,
Oh,
because
that too.
as a
Yeah.
woman, we know genetically that we're not upper body strength, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Just that's how women,
Yeah.
that's how we're built. We don't,
Mhm.
but you have to develop that strength. And over time, like with activities like martial arts or kickboxing, where you're really narrowing in on particular muscles, you will get stronger. You know what I mean? And so it's an overall mental, physical, spiritual health that I'm learning, I'm want to gain for this
Mm.
summer. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to find different ways of doing that. But back to the real question. Let's check in. How are you doing, my girl? Because
I
you've been
do,
out here busy as a bee.
and I don't like to be busy people. I
Okay.
don't like it. I just feel like something's gonna go wrong. So yeah, I've been pretty busy for the past 2 weeks. Um, I'm like work has been. I'm going on a work trip. I think I've talked about this, the Vegas thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be
Mm-hmm.
in Vegas, but that's the thing when you're going on when work is interrupted, whether it's a long weekend or anything in between, you have to there's a lot of rushing and dashing to make up that lost time. So everybody's trying to bring their last minute stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. It wasn't too bad this week. I was just trying to get ready for it. Was also running around getting some last minute stuff for the trip. And fixing. I told you, you guys, you're gonna be. I don't know if you're gonna be proud or ashamed, but I mentioned having a leak in my tub.
Mhm.
I think from
Mhm.
summertime, at least the fall, if the late,
With
maybe summer, but definitely early fall.
Mhm.
And I let that go and go and go and go until I was like, wait a minute. I am going to be going on a trip. I don't want to be
Right?
leaving my house with a leaky tub.
Right?
Um, because you never know, right? So
This is it.
I
Mhm.
was everything that could will go wrong went wrong, unfortunately, when you do repairs. So I didn't have any water last night. But thank God that my
Mhm.
parents don't live too far. So I just stayed there, killed time, did some laundry and everything. And by this evening, everything is
Mhm.
officially my bathtub is officially drip free.
Nice. Got it
um,
done.
and then the
Mhm.
last thing I'm trying to do is my brows. Girl, I didn't do them today.
Girl,
We'll see. we'll see. We'll see. But technically, I have 2 days to make it happen, and I'll try and make it happen.
the
I think I
brows are
will.
easier than the leak, brethren. Okay, the brows are easier than the leak.
Oh my gosh, so
That
many
peace of mind,
things.
it going to sweet you when you come home. Watch. It going to sweet you. You're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
the fact that I
yes,
don't have to worry. Yeah,
right?
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I've been busy, but that's not a bad that's a good thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But it just it makes me a little bit anxious. But yeah, I've been pretty good. My mom's birthday is coming up this
Mm-hmm.
month. I think we're trying to do a little something something for her.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be a little bit hectic, but we'll try and do what we can for Mom Dukes.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, God is good.
Yep. Amen.
All
All the
right.
time.
So we're gonna jump. Excuse me. We're gonna jump into our first episode. Sorry, first episode. We're gonna jump into the episode now. And before we do that, though, as I always do, I want to thank you guys all for listening
Thanks,
and
everybody.
and
Thanks.
tuning in. And we're
Mm-hmm.
sorry we had the drought. But if you're still tuning in with us, please continue to share the episode, share the show,
Mm-hmm.
put in your reviews, follow the podcast wherever you listen, particularly Spotify and Apple, so you're notified of our new episodes when they pop up. And
Yes.
comment and thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate
Yes. Thank you,
you.
everybody. Mm-hmm.
So it's the last day of Black History Month. So what we what we gonna talk about today?
A
We
little
gonna
on the
talk
black
about
histories, a little
Black
bit.
history. um, so Black History Month in Canada, I'll talk about in
Mm-hmm.
Canada. Is only 30 years old. It's 30 years old in 2026. And because I was looking up on our Canadian federal site to see what the official theme of it was this year, and in reading I found out that it was a 30th anniversary, and Kim and I were pretty
I was
shocked
I was
because
gobsmacked.
that's like mid
Okay.
90s.
Um,
Here I am thinking
Black
it was at
history in
least I
Canada.
thought it was at least 50
Oh,
years old.
Jesus. I can't even tell my daughter this because she's going to think I'm ancient. She already tells me, okay, you're in the 1900s, mom. She already says this to me. So now to know that I'm older than the Black History Month in the Canada,
Yeah.
I
That
gobsmacked.
hurts. That hurts.
It just hits in a different way. It really hits. Okay,
And,
it
and
really hits.
to show the contrast, so in the US, Black History Month started out as Negro History Week. It started out as a week.
Mm-hmm.
But the week started 100 years ago, which was February 1926. And then it changed to 1 month long. So the official Black History Month in the United States started was officially recognized but in the United States in 1976. So it's 50 years in the US, 30 years here. But technically 100 in the US if we really want to go back.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give it some context. So, and I also want to mention before we get into it, and is that not only is it the 30th anniversary of Canada as a nation celebrating Black History Month, but it also was started by the MP. I know you've heard about her, Jean Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
You know that
Yeah.
MP.
Yeah.
She is a very respected member of parliament and a black
Yes.
woman, Caribbean black woman,
Yes.
who has been a pioneer in as an MP, but also as a big member of her community, advocating obviously for Black History Month is huge, but she's also been very involved. Like I know my dad and my dad's Ghanaian community events. She
Mm-hmm.
has come and supported, and the Jamaican Canadian, all the I mean,
Yes.
Caravana, all. She's a very visible. Not only is she a politician, but she's also very visible for the members of the Black community. So I
Yes.
do
Very
have to
much so.
say that I forgot that she was actually the person responsible for taking it to the federal government to make it an official Canadian holiday, because it was
Mm-hmm.
celebrated in Toronto a little bit before, but it was like to validate everything nationwide. She took a bill and it was passed in 1995. So, and then it's the first official one was 1996.
And when I was gobsmacked, right,
Hmm.
I had to
Hmm.
say to myself, why is it so young? Like why is it only 30 years?
Hmm.
And then it sparked my interest into go into the history of Black people in Canada. And I started to rationalize why it could possibly be only 30 years in.
Hmm.
Because Black people have been coming to Canada for at least a century, okay,
Hmm.
before this is even acknowledged as Black History Month. And so I did want to mention, like, Canadians have had a great deal to do with the Black community, especially when we come and we talk about slavery, which I'm not going to emphasize because we do that way too much for Black History Month. But
Hmm.
I do want to emphasize our contribution to that movement of abolishing slavery and freeing slaves. The Underground Railroad came here. The destination was Canada. Okay.
Hmm.
And so just knowing how much we've contributed to the Black community in Canada and why maybe it wasn't necessary for us to have a month because we didn't necessarily have a lot of conflicts in
Hmm.
terms of black people and white people and the races and so on and so forth in Canada, I
We
think
don't have a lot of note, like what's the
notable
word?
history.
No,
Right.
yes, it's there, but
It's
it's not
there, but
it's not brought
there
up to the
was
forefront.
segregation, but it
Yeah.
wasn't nearly as what it is when you think of segregation when it comes to the United States or to other countries. And so I think Canadians have always been open to having other cultures in the country. And so I just, it sparked an interest of wanting to know why only 30 years? Like, I couldn't believe it.
Hmm.
Right. And for the most part, and here in Canada, everybody kind of just got along. I know that seems euphoric of an idea, but we kind of just got along for the most part. Yes, we in history have had our little, spats here and there internally, but I think for the most part, it wasn't on such a grand scale. So, I'm trying to rationalize it in my head, I guess, because I'm
I
like,
get,
how
yeah,
the
and you
hell
don't
am I
have to, and
older?
you don't have to, because really what she did, it wasn't that it wasn't celebrated. I think it was, again, just validating that voice in Canada as a
Right.
whole.
Right. But why
Especially
wouldn't it have
knowing,
been earlier? Like 30
right, and
years?
yeah, so that's, again, that kind of counters your, so it happened, and it took a while, and it took somebody very vocal, and
Never to say it
because,
wasn't. I'm not saying it was very necessary, but
yeah.
I guess I'm trying to understand why nobody before, because
But then remember
she was
Gene
an
Augustine.
awesome contributing, like
But
she contributed a
if we
great
think
deal.
about Gene Augustine, I think she was like one of the first. She was the first Black woman elected into the Parliament of Canada, and that was in 1993, Kimmy. So
Wow.
2 years later. So it takes a
Right.
kind of person. None of, like, I hate to say it, but uh, I think it would be more rare for the traditional MP to raise of Canada, as a member of Parliament in the Parliament of Canada, to raise up. Okay, we need to celebrate the Black community if they're not Black.
I mean, and there were great contributions even from Jamaicans that came here,
Yeah.
first to Nova Scotia. Most of them went to Nova Scotia and spread outwards. I mean,
Mhm.
there's contribution. I'm anyway. It's not here nor there.
Yeah, but
For
but to
me,
your
it's just
point,
like
it's
I'm like,
mhm.
what? 30 years? Like, so in the 90s, because there had to have been somebody before her. But the point that you made that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
very
sure, you're right. There could
is
have
that
been.
there she was elected into a position of
Mhm.
power where
Right.
she could do
Yeah.
something. So
There you
that's
go.
that there you go. We
There
just
you
hit it
go.
on the head. We
So we
hit
came
it
to it.
on the head. It had to take Miss Augustine to be elected, to be in the room, to make these type of suggestions and push forward. So that's why. Okay. Anyways, going on. And I'm
Mhm.
thankful for her. Thank you so much, ma'am. And
Yeah,
you're
I
still
don't
you're
know. Is
still
she?
involved in the community, because I remember when they were honoring my cousin for his
Yes.
basketball contributions at Scarborough Town Center. She
Uh
was
huh.
there.
She's always there. Trust me, every big Black community event, she is there.
Okay.
And I don't know if she passed, but she's Grenadian. She's
A
Grenadian.
lie.
Yes,
Pull up
Grenadian
good
born.
again. She's good.
I have to
Okay,
check if I have
girl.
to see if she's still alive, because I thought she
She
passed.
was still alive though, but she's like really old.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So she's still
She's like in her
alive.
ladies ish, 80s around.
Yeah, because she's older than my parents. Yeah, because she's
Yeah,
born
but
in the
she's still dead
30s.
there. But she has still do things because she dead there.
She's
Because it was only
88.
a couple years ago that they were honored at Scarborough Town Center.
Okay. Yeah,
So
she's
she
still alive.
yeah,
She's
she was dead
88.
there. I saw the
Mm-hmm.
picture. She was dead there. So unless unless something happened from, but she's still pushing strong, and so I'm so thankful for her contribution, because it is necessary that we honor, and
Yeah, she had a huge legacy she should be proud of. And get bringing it back full circle, is establishing Black History Month as a Canadian federal a federal Canadian recognized moment, I guess, or time.
Mhm.
Annual, and we celebrate it annually here. So, in talking about that, the theme for this year, when we were talking about the show, is um the theme for the theme for Black History in Canada. I'm sure it's different in different places.
Mhm.
Is It's recognizing the 30th anniversary, and it's honoring Black brilliance across generations.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because it's a beautiful thing that we have, and I love all the discussion that it fosters. And my
Mhm.
new favorite thing on social media when anything crazy happens in February is in Black History Month,
Okay.
during Black
In the
History Month.
Black Women's Black History Month?
And we
Okay.
had a few crazy things happen this month, which was kind of annoying that we'll talk about. But we want to first focus on celebratory things. So what we
Yes.
thought, Kimmy and I said,
Yes.
for this episode, we will choose a moment. Each of us will highlight one or two moments that is impactful to Black culture, Black history, or our Black futures. So
Mhm.
we didn't say it doesn't have to be a person. We typically talk about a person. I said it could be a
Mhm.
moment, it could be a thing, it could be a movement.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I will start us off because I have two. And
Okay.
because of where we started off the conversation with Canada and the emergence of Black history being solidified
Mhm.
here and certified here, I wanted to talk about the a Canadian moment. And one of the Canadian moments that happened here was, you mentioned Nova Scotia. So if people
Mhm.
don't know, people might know if you've the Underground Railroad and thus also before that, we had Black Canadians here in Nova Scotia. That's where most of them were settled, and they were living amongst the British loyalists in Nova Scotia. And there's some event that happened in 1784 called the Shelbourne Race Riots.
Oh
Most
wow.
people don't know about it. With a lot of, I think, like you mentioned, Black Canadian
Right.
history, it's very buried. It's very like there's only a few people who are very knowledgeable, and it usually is coming from those Black Canadians. A
Mhm.
lot of my Black
Mhm.
Canadian history that I picked up have been people from around the Windsor area and from the Nova Scotia area because they've been here for generations, and so they've kept those stories alive. Um,
Yeah.
the Shelbourne race riots happened in Nova Scotia when white loyalists attack Black loyalists over jobs. Sounds
Mhm.
familiar. Sounds
Well,
very familiar, especially with what's going
this
on
is
with
what
immigrants.
MLK he figured out in the end. This is what it's about,
And
equality, financial equality. But go on. Mhm.
yeah, no, yeah. So it's because when everybody's the same class, that's when everybody starts to realize we're all the same. We're all looking at the same.
Yeah.
We're all trying to feed our family.
Yeah.
We're all trying to work. So it was, and it's just and what's interesting about the story, it's the first recorded race riot in North America, not
Wow.
just Canada.
Yeah.
1784.
Yeah.
So because the loyalists, that's when the loyalists were still around. That means the British were still fighting
Yeah.
for control of United States.
Mhm. Mhm.
So after the American Revolution,
Mhm.
the British promised Black people freedom and land if they fought for them. So they recruited the Black people to fight on the loyalist sides. So those Black loyalists are the people that are mostly in who settled in Nova Scotia. And so the white soldiers who fought for, so this is, we had the white loyalists and the Black loyalists.
Mhm.
And now
Mhm.
they're mad because, wait a minute, these Black people are getting land, they're free, they can work, they
Right?
can they can have houses that we want for ourselves.
Right.
So on July 26, 1784, a mob of 40 to 50 men, white men, armed with ship tackle and hooks, stormed the home of David George, a famous Black Baptist, because
Mhm.
he had the audacity to baptize white people in his church.
Oh wow. Wow.
The mob didn't just stop there. They tore down 20 houses of free Black people, beat them, and drove the entire Black population out of the town of Shelbourne into the woods of Birchtown. The riot lasted 10 days. And like this,
Well,
doesn't it remind you? It's not as brutal, but remember we hear about the Tulsa riots.
yep,
We hear about
sure
which was
does.
Black Wall Street. Then we hear about what happened in Central Park, which was also
Yep.
not that area was also a black dominated place before they tore down and
It
drove.
was all black land. That was
Yes,
all
right.
Central Park was all owned black by.
So,
And you know the saddest part about that whole story
hmm
is, from my understanding with Central
hmm
Park, they had black people go to Central Park area, build it up to then burn it down and turn it
hmm
back into a park.
mm,
Let that sink in, because black people worked their ass off so that they could build up that area for them to then burn it down and turn it into a park. So it was already wild trees, all sorts of overgrown, all sorts of, it was already that.
mm.
And they worked the area, meaning they made houses and cleared ways so that they could build a little community, and then they burnt it down and turned it right back into a damn park.
Yeah.
But
And
anyway,
so I'm trying to highlight that that's a pattern of behavior
it is a pattern.
when
Yeah.
these black communities were kind of self-sufficient and flourishing and growing their economic
Hmm.
power and stuff like that. So the reason why I brought that up is just to highlight that Canada is like always there's some people back in the day, oh, Canada didn't have slavery, Canada didn't do this, Canada Canadian niceness. We have the myth of and it's a myth. And so I just wanted to highlight that, especially with the longest black community in Canada that lives in Nova Scotia, and give them a little highlight. I have a
Right.
more futuristic one, but I'll let you go and then I'll do my second one.
Right. So what I was thinking, seeing that the Olympics, the Winter Olympics just passed,
Yes,
right?
yes, 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 yes.
And, my dad was the one that actually, I was talking with him. And he was like, oh, talking about the Olympics. And
Mhm.
I got a bright idea. And I'm like, let me look into something in regards to the Olympics and hockey. Now,
Okay.
Canada is known to be, we are the starters, creators, end all be all of the hockey. Okay.
Unfortunately, yes, we say that, but
That's what we say. That's what we say.
while we swallow our loss from the
Yeah,
Olympics,
I know, I
yes.
know, I know, I know. But you know what? There's lots going on. Okay,
There's lots going on,
lots of
yeah.
distractions. A lot of distractions. But anyhow, back to this idea. So I wanted to talk about the Colored Hockey League of the Maritime.
Mhm.
So initially, okay, they are actually the first and only all black American hockey team in Canada. Okay, and it was developed in 1895 in Halifax and in Dartmouth and
Dartmouth, yeah.
in Nova Scotia. The
Mhm.
leaders were actually intellectuals. They were also Canadian Baptist community,
Mhm.
and during the racial discrimination in sports, this is when they decided to develop this league. And at the time, it was the only black league in all of the world. In all of the world, like, just imagine that, here in Canada, right? And so I found it fascinating. I know we lost in the Olympics, but I'm saying hockey is rooted in the black culture. Believe
Mhm.
it or not.
Mhm.
Believe it or not. I know that it's kind of been taken
Co-opted.
over and like
Yeah.
ran by dominantly white people from Canada. I get that, but
Mm.
we had our own at one point as well. And I wanted to highlight that, seeing that we are recognizing Black History Month here in Canada, and the contributions to Black History Month, even though it's only 30 years that we have a month, believe it or not, I wanted to bring that up. I know that we lost, but we have so much that we've contributed to the sport of hockey, and so I wanted to highlight that.
Mhm.
I wanted to
Cool.
highlight that it was the only one in all of the world, like, and that was in 1895. So
Mhm.
wrap your brain around that, because there was still a lot of segregation, a lot, even though slavery was abolished at this point, it still kind of wasn't.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, they were still having a lot of hardship. But just imagine what was actually happening up in Canada at this time. We were building our own leagues,
Mhm.
right? And so there was discrimination here in Canada, as my point was earlier, that yes, there was. However, we still battled it. We
Hmm.
still found a way around it and developed our own thing. So, and it was also funny that, Baptist people had a lot to do with progression here in Canada back in the day. I'm starting to notice the Baptist community was out here in the community, in the streets, doing the hardcore work.
Hmm.
And it's kind of said that the Baptist community is, dominantly black, conveniently enough, right? And so these were intellectual people who said enough is enough. You don't want us to play your damn. We're going to develop our own damn league. Forget you. Okay. And they moved on and they developed. And so it's nice to see that Canada has roots of hockey, yes, but not just for what you might think of a white person. Black people play hockey too. I know a lot of people that are black, actually, believe it or not, and they love hockey.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's their thing, right? They'd rather watch hockey than our Raptors,
Hmm.
which, yeah, that's a whole end of the discussion right now. But anyhow, I don't know what the Raptors are doing. They need to stop the nonsense. And, but either way, it's nice to see how, rooted hockey is in the black culture here in Canada. So anyway, that was my one and only connection, thanks
Yes,
to my
no, that's
dad and
cool.
him
Thanks for
mentioning the
highlighting it. It's
Olympics.
it's very relevant to the times. I thought you were actually surprised me because when you were prepping, when you're leading up to it, I thought you were going to bring up the black French figure skater.
Oh no, no, because that's controversy
It's
right
controversial.
there.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure. I mean, it's fine. You could share and have your
That's
own
true.
angle, but I wasn't sure. But anyway, so all
No,
right.
I want to
So
keep
the
it light and Canadian right about now.
Yes, okay, keep it that way. So the second thing I was going to bring up that's more futuristic, more present time, postmodern, I guess, is kind of like the Black Panther effect, the
Mm,
Afrofuturism and the like just a cultural shift and attention and more attention on black culture when it comes to sci-fi, technology,
mm-hmm.
futurism, and not being always black stories being focused on trauma, colonialism, and all those
Ugh,
things that are true. But sometimes it's like, why is that always the story that's
that can't be
celebrated
the
for
only
us?
story.
There's
That's all I'm
there's so
saying.
many stories. There's nothing wrong with those stories, but
No,
it's
and
it
it's a
almost
part of the
seems
overall story,
but
but
it
it's not
almost
the
seems
only.
like those stories are the ones that get the most
Attention,
attention, the most awards.
right?
It's interesting. It's been very interesting when when black people are in a certain position and fitting a certain persona. That's when everybody's talking about it. Oh, now we win all the awards. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I'm waiting for the Oscars to say my full piece because we're gonna see what happens with Sinners.
Mm.
Anyway, so
Okay,
we call it
nothing
Black
better be passed up. That's all I gotta say.
I like to say minimum.
Nothing.
Like, what did we say? No, we said you were more optimistic than me, but I was like, we better get at least three.
There better be at least. I think we
And
settled on
I
three.
want of those three. I want them to be two major ones.
We settled on three. I think the last time we talked about it, we are like, they better walk away with three. Four, and I'm like, okay, okay. But
Okay,
three is a must. I don't know
it's a
what we're
must.
movie of the year needs to be one.
I don't know. They're gonna give it to him. I mean, whew.
But let's
Okay, I'll let you
look at
finish.
those box
Finish.
office numbers. How about we do that?
You're right, but
If they need
people were
convincing,
hating. People were hating.
if they
So I
need
don't know.
convincing, go back to the box office numbers,
Okay,
okay?
there's still time. There's
And
still time.
holler at me, okay? Because it needs to be one. That's all I
Uh,
gotta tell you. But
so it's
yeah,
so funny. I brought up Black Panther because it's a Ryan Coogler movie,
see,
and it was started a movement online and in the culture about again futurism, sci-fi, and technology, and looking in more postmodern aspect. And so we had artists like Olivia Butler, who was a
yeah,
writer, who was a black sci-fi writer, was like coming back, resurging. Everybody was focused on her writing and other writers like her.
Mm-hmm.
Sun Ra was a jazz artist in the 70s. He was very futuristic. He wore crazy outfits. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like one of those artists, and it's usually those artists from the 70s, I don't know, and six, that when you listen to their music, you're like, I am
Right?
sober, but this is crazy. Like, you know,
It's
there's some music.
nuts. Tripping me
So
out.
if
I
yeah,
can't.
if you were under the influence listening to this, I wouldn't even want to listen to this under the
Right?
influence. I'm sober and this is like messing with me. So
Trippy.
he was
Mm-hmm.
one of those. Sun Ra is also one of those artists. Every once in a while, like again, I like instrumental and I use jazz music for my focus, like when I'm trying to focus at work and I want to distract myself
Mm-hmm.
from all
Mm-hmm.
the chaos. And
Mm-hmm.
Sun Ra has popped up on my playlist. So I was interested to
Okay.
see his name come up. But there's been a 1.3 million cultural shift to reclaim Black identity as technological and cosmic force. And outside of those two examples I just gave, Lovecraft Country, show by Misha Green, which is one of the shows that made what's his face, a boy. This is Megan Good's husband. What's his name again? Jonathan
Majors?
Majors. See, you see how time just messed. A few months ago, they couldn't keep this guy's name out their mouth.
Right?
Like,
No, he needs a
yes,
movie. That's what it is. He needs a movie like
he needs a
ASAP,
big movie. I
bro.
think he's trying. You know, he did need to lay low, but I think he might try and pop. He did have something last year. I think he's gonna pop up again. And you know what? He is a very good actor. So I think if people are willing to overlook that, which I don't know if they will be, he will have a very strong
But
career. But
Megan
that's
can't do it, okay? She
well, the
already
Megan
brought
can't do
your ass
everything.
this far, so she can't do it.
She can only do so
Shit.
much, and she did a little too much as far as
Okay.
I'm concerned.
Oh, okay.
She married you.
Right
God
down
damn.
to the marriage. Okay.
But
So
yeah, so Lovecraft Country, which was created and produced by Misha Green, and he was a star, and that was another one of those shows that I really loved as a cultural shift and showing a more sci-fi, futuristic horror. It was at all the things, and I'd love to see more of that as somebody who likes to consume art and just
me
seeing
too.
different stories. It doesn't need to be what we're used to, but just
I
something
would
different
love
and
to see a
authentic.
black sci-fi movie right about now. I
I
haven't
think it's coming.
seen.
That's what I'm saying. So this movement, it is coming. Well, Black Panther is kind of a sci-fi movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But the only thing is it has to stay within the bounds of that
That's the
Marvel
thing.
world.
That's
So,
the
but
thing.
I think with what
What
you're
was the one
saying,
that Oprah did the other day? Remember the one, and it was
uh
sci-fi. It was about
it's
5 years
sci-fi-ish. It was a
ago,
kids one, kind of like her and
right?
Ava
And there was
DuVernay.
a young
It looked
girl.
interesting. Did you watch it?
I can't remember. No, no, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I remember wanting to, but then I don't know. Oprah did something, and I got turned off with her, and then I said, "No, I'm not watching this." Okay, because Oprah, I can't. Um,
Okay.
but
Yeah, but I
she did
think
one just the other
yeah, she
day.
did do one. It was geared towards like it was
Children, though. It wasn't
children.
adult sci-fi.
No, but I
But I
think it's
mean,
coming. I
and
think
you
what
know what? Like I like how we're highlighting the diversity of black people, because
Mhm,
I feel like we're always pigeonholed into certain stereotypes. Like,
you're right.
why does the black person in a sci-fi movie have to be the top three people that get killed? The first top three. How
So
come?
that's the helps when the whole cast or
The
majority of the
whole
cast is
cast, right?
black. When the
Exactly.
majority of the cast is black, then we avoid that
Right?
problem.
Or
But I think it's
how about we
coming.
just have them rock to the end? Like,
To
I've
your
seen
point,
sci-fi movies where the characters make it to the end, like,
yeah, it's
so,
possible.
right? And so I'm glad to see the push behind diversity in our culture of doing
Mm,
things that typically we're not known for doing, but
mm,
that we
mhm,
still
mhm.
like, because there's lots of black people out here that love them some sci-fi. I'm telling you right now.
No, seriously, that's how I learned. So that's why I wanted to bring this up, and I'm one of those people. And to what
Me
your point
too.
for what you're asking, I think it's gonna happen very soon. I
I
think
hope
it's gonna
so.
happen
I hope
very
so. And
soon.
I
For
will
all
go
we
pack
know, it's
that
in
theater.
it's being produced right now. We don't know. I haven't.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so that was it. That was, some stories we wanted to highlight with our Canadian Black histories, looking
Yes.
at our cultural moments and looking to the future. So yeah, I hope everybody was able to enjoy Black History Month. Hopefully
Yes.
you got to do some type of event, do something. You
right?
know,
And I feel
something.
like overall, I think Black History Month, whether it be in the United States or in Canada, it was kind of uh, there's so much distractions going on in the
That's
world
what
right
it is.
now
I feel you. Yeah,
that I
yeah.
feel like Black history wasn't highlighted nearly as much as I'm used to.
I
And
agree.
so I'm glad that we at least did do something and we did highlight this important month because there
Mm-hmm.
are people, like Miss Augustine, who had pushed and fought for us to have this Black History Month. And
Right.
so I'm glad we took the time, even though it's on the 28th of February, we did
Mm-hmm.
come with something. So and I'm glad, that the next month, is March and summertime, and Black people will be able to get out more and hopefully get involved with different things as well. Don't let the distractions distract you too much. That's all
Right.
I'm saying. So we didn't let it happen to us over here. So shoot, the 28th of February. That's okay. Okay, and it's before 12 that we're recording. So it's
Yeah,
on.
it's official.
Shoot.
It's still Black History Month. Um, so the second thing, so yeah, we're gonna move on to a couple of headlines
Yeah.
that that was where basically when we read them, we were like, Black History Month, and during Black History Month,
Thank you, Jesse Wu, for that. Girl, you
yeah, I
got
love
me
how
cracking
yeah,
up every
the
time. Okay.
yeah, I love Jesse Wu.
I love me some Jesse Wu. So
Um,
thanks for that tagline, girl. Black
so
History
we
Month in the Women's Black History Month.
uh
Yes.
we can't um yeah, so we didn't record this the week that some of these happened, but we have to talk about them this month. So on February 6th, Trump shared a video
Stupid
on the
ass.
Truth Social,
Like a
which
dumbass.
I guess is like the Republican social
Uh,
platform, I don't know,
mm,
depicting the Obamas as primates in a Lion King style meme. He deleted it 12 hours later after even Republican Senator Tim Scott called it the most racist thing I've seen. I must mention Tim Scott is black. He's a
mhm.
coon, but he is black.
The shucky and jiving ended that day. But
Right? He got a wake up call again.
mhm.
Speaking so uh basically eventually the White House um said they blamed a staffer for posting it. They've been using the quote unquote abstract staffer who posted it.
Yeah, they need to throw
um
somebody under the bus. I mean, it's just this random staffer. Okay.
and to me it's like, and honestly
Okay.
I was actually like, you brought this up, but I actually, for me, it wasn't even a thing. I was like, yeah, Trump would post that. Like, what is that? That's a regular day for Trump. Like, this isn't even anything unusual. Yeah, it's mad disrespectful, especially to a fellow president who is well respected in, for the most part, Obama was a respected leader, as much as people want to pretend now and throw him under the
And
bus.
is still respected. And
Yeah.
that's the real problem. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
Why Obama is still on the mouth of Trump is because Trump knows he will never, ever, it doesn't matter what the hell he does, have the same admiration, respect that the Obamas have to this day. How long ago, okay, Obama was in power, and to this day, he still gets the same respect. You can
Mm-hmm.
see him at the whatever game, NBA game, he's in front row center. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
people are still clapping for him and treating him with honor and respect. And
Mm-hmm.
so the real problem is that Trump knows he will never have that respect
Mm.
at all. He will never be liked because of all the presidents Obama he's likable. He's
Yes,
liked by
he's
many.
likable. Yeah,
He's
whether whoever
adored
you
by
are, yeah, he's likable.
he's
Yeah.
likable. It doesn't matter who. This is the thing is that people can disagree with him and his policies,
Mm-hmm.
but have a respect for him that is outstanding because he shows respect for people. And yes, he might have not done what we thought or what we needed him to do in XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But at the end of the day, he's walked in grace, he's walked in class, he's kept his head held high. Okay, even when they've been bashing him from the time he ran to this day, they're bashing
To this day.
him. Okay, and the man is still walking. Okay, with a nice pep in his step. His
Mm-hmm.
wife is beautiful. He,
Mm-hmm.
his daughters are educated and
And
doing great
talented,
things
doing
with
good.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, uh, yeah, of course you're not gonna like Obama. I just don't understand why he's so much in Trump's thoughts. And it's perfectly clear now when he posted that. You want to try to disrespect him, to pull him outside of that honorable uh position that he has, that
Mm-hmm.
honorable disposition that he walks with. You're trying so much, so hard, and every time you try, you end up looking worse. So it's just like, even Michelle had to put his ass in check. Like, Michelle had to put it and say a 1 2 2s about Trump. Okay. Obama has done the same, but they've done it in a very educated, classy way. And it just bothers the hell out of him. It bothers him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's losing sleep. Okay. The Obamas are in his head, living rent free. Okay. Because I don't understand why you're talking about him. I don't understand why you try to use Obama as a justification for your inadequacies. Like, I just don't understand it. It's baffling until you realize Trump wants to be Obama. He wants to be liked. He wants to be respected. And he will never have it. He'll never have it. Even
Nope.
even the good old boys that he's lining their pockets, even they don't respect him. Because when his ass leaves the room, trust me, you are the butt of the jokes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're lining their pockets, they're laughing at you behind your back. And that will never happen with Obama. It would never. So this is why we have to do nonsense like this.
And like you said, the key word you've been saying, distraction. Distraction from Epstein. Or is he testing how much? Remember, the like you said, the midterms are coming up.
Around
Is
the
it?
corner.
Is he trying to test his base, how much they'll tolerate? Clearly, he took it too far, and at least not all is lost. Not all is lost
No.
because a lot of people were disgusted on both sides,
On both.
and at least I could say there's some humanity, a little touch of it left somewhere. But it
Well,
was,
I'm glad he did it, and I'm going
mhm.
to tell you
He
why. I know this is going to
mhm,
sound controversial, but the
mhm,
reason why I'm glad Trump did this is
mhm.
because all of the coonery and the shucking and jiving can stop
Right.
right now. Okay,
It's right in your face. It's clear now. You
they're
can't say
showing
he's not
you.
racist.
They're showing you. Okay, that when black people leave the room, we are the butt of Trump's jokes.
Mm.
So when you think that you're on his side and you're a Republican and you're shucking and you're jiving in for him, and you think he actually cares, you think he actually respects you. Well, look what he done showed you. So I'm actually glad because he turned black people that were Republicans over to the other side. And with those midterms coming, yeah, the Democrats, they need as many people coming over to their side as possible. Because
Mm.
if they do not, if the Democrats don't win, the world as we know it will change indefinitely. That's all. Just, I know it's heavy, but
It's not
it's
heavy,
the
but we'll
truth.
see. It will be a real. Let's put it this way.
Trump will
I,
put laws in place where he can keep running.
right, exactly. That's the fear, and it's now a thing where everything we fear with happening with him will happen. So everybody needs to get it together.
And
And
he
I
thought
do
that this
think,
whole monkey thing, he thought it was going to go over like a big hit, eh?
yes, yeah, that's what I say. He was testing his base, and the base did not go for it. The base did not go. That was too far.
Since the Epstein files have been released,
He's been acting
okay?
a fool. He's been doing pure
The, the,
foolishness.
the
And
distraction.
now he just dropped bombs in Iran and started a whole
Oh,
war with
Lord.
Iran today. As of today, the whole thing where they send missiles to Iran, they killed
Yes.
their leader. It's a whole thing, but that's another
Yes. And I
story.
know, you know how I know? Because up here, where I live around here.
Oh, you're around. Yeah, your community. You're living that. They're
My
happy.
mother of pearl. I'm just trying to go to the no frills.
They're
Okay, because
rejoicing.
what? Around here, all of the Iranian flags.
Yeah, I
So
know your
Young
area
Street
is
has been
a very
taken
big
over.
community. That's a big community of
Huge
Persians.
community. So Young Street, after like I would say Finch,
Hmm.
has been taken over.
Yeah, Richmond Hill area is
Okay,
definitely their
going
spot.
all up these ways, it's ridiculous. Do you know I was trying to leave the no frills today, and it
Hmm.
took me a half an hour. It took me a half an hour to get out of that little area where no frills was because and it's on CBC. You can see it. They're
Hmm.
all over the news about it, and I understand. Fight for your people and all, right? But I'm really trying to understand what they want the Canadian government to do.
Hmm.
Maybe you can enlighten me
I
because
can I can
I'm
enlighten you. I can enlighten you.
because I'm just trying to understand.
But they don't have to. Well, the US did what they wanted. I think they want their people to be free. And because there's a lot of, like you said, distraction, a lot of what's the word I want to use? Smoke and mirrors happening up between the Middle East and US, and Trump trying to show his power or continue to show the US as a power in the face of Iran's threats. And it's obviously more complicated than how I'm making it. But I'm just saying Trump had his own reasons, and he didn't do it because the Iranian people want to be free. But by doing it, they've made a they put a big dent in that oppressive power, the Islamic state that has taken over their government.
Hmm.
So we'll see where this takes. I mean, I didn't think this discussion to go there, but it is a big topic that happened
It
today.
is a big
Breaking
topic, and we'll stay
breaking
tuned to
news.
that. We'll stay tuned to
We'll
that.
talk more. We'll see what the fallout. But technically, though, I am happy for the Iranian people, because this government has oppressed that country for over 50 years. So we'll
This is
see what
true.
happens. Unfortunately, though, that this fight has been going on a long time.
It
And
has been.
does
It
this
has
does
been.
the killing of this leader lead to improvement and freedom, or does it lead to more chaos? That is unfortunately
That
what we
that
have
we
to.
will see and have to unravel another day. Uh,
Right.
but yeah.
So
But anyhow, yeah.
yeah, so of course, to me, it was just Trump being tacky, but I'm glad to see the backlash was real. He had to take that on within hours, and people continue to really go in on him.
Yeah,
So
and the
there's hope
so-called
yet.
assistant. Hmm.
There's hope yet.
So-called
So we'll
assistant.
move on to, I was talking about Sinners. Sinners won a few BAFTA awards, which is the
Hmm.
British Academy uh of
Film, television.
television and film
Yeah.
awards, right? British Academy Television and Film Awards. You
No,
got it.
it's British Academy Film Television Awards.
There you
I
go. You
think
got
BAFTA.
it. It's
Correct.
something British and television and film. Okay.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. Put it in.
You
Put it
got
in.
it. And so, oh boy, it sucks to talk about this, but
I blame BAFTA, and the
yes, me too. Yes, I'm so
that's who
glad
I
you said
blame.
that. Okay, so basically, Sinners. So who was it? Delroy, was it who was on stage? Michael B. Jordan
Yeah, and
and Delroy Lindo.
yes,
So they were both on stage, and during they're on stage, and
they were
uh
presenting an award.
John presenting an award for the BAFTAs, and then John Davidson, who is a Tourette's advocate,
Hmm.
and there's a movie about him. I can't remember the name of the movie, but that's why he was there, because there's a movie that's based on his story. While they're on stage, he yells out the N word.
With the hard R. Yeah.
Yes. Despite there being a 2-hour delay on the broadcast, BBC failed to edit it out. They had 2 hours.
Mm.
Some shows only have 5 minutes. They had 2 hours to edit that out.
And it was said multiple times, by the way. I just
Oh,
want to
I
put that
okay.
out there.
See, even though that's a new
So
fact that I did not know.
it wasn't just one outburst where that noise or that sound could have like not have been heard. No, it
Mhm.
was repeated a few times while they were standing there. Let me tell you what I want to do on this Black History, okay, Black Women's Black History Month, is I want to say kudos to those Black men for standing there with the utmost respect for themselves and
Yeah.
dignity, even though they shouldn't have had to, and
Yes,
even
that's
though nobody checked on them,
right.
nobody apologized to them. BAFTA, I'm gonna put that shit out there. BAFTA, nobody said sorry to them. Nobody checked on them. Nobody said, hey. They stood up there like strong Black men that they are, and they did what they had to do. I just kudos to them for that.
Uh,
I have to because whew, when I saw
yeah.
it, I was
y-
like,
The
wow.
thing what will make you even it's more infuriating is they edited out a free
Okay.
Palestine comment
Okay.
and a joke about Trump during that broadcast. So I
Tell them.
ask again, why weren't you able to edit out that offensive outburst? First of
That
all,
happened
second,
multiple times.
another thing that I've learned so far that makes this more infuriating because the fact that it happened sucks. And you're like, okay, have sympathy, like not have sympathy, but understand that the guy has Tourette's and people with Tourette's have outbursts. I'm going to say something that might be ableist, but supposedly he, aside from that, he was saying other like offensive things because
Yes.
of the type of Tourette's he has. It's a version where that's what they swear and they say all these weird things, right?
Hmm.
So that's the type that he has. But couldn't, like, okay, you're in an award where it's a TV show, they're recording live. Can't they like put like rubbers in, like like when you have braces and they put rubber bands? Like,
Hmm.
isn't there something that, like, I think this is so archaic and so barbaric, but like basically, like, what can you do to stop yourself? You're just going to be interrupting the show whether he said the n word or not. He was there saying a bunch of other things that were offensive. No, there's kids, like young actors in the audience and stuff. Like, what, how they did not have a plan to mitigate the fact that this man is going to say a bunch of offensive things, whether we knew he was going to say the n-word or not. Regardless, he's going to have outbursts, and they're going to be more than likely offensive. That's one point.
Hmm.
Second point, I heard when you hear it in the clip, like I just saw a brief clip, it seems and it feels like he's a lot closer than he is. You feel like he's in the first three rows
And he's
tops,
not.
and he's not. I heard he's a good 20, 30 rows. Like, he's
Back.
well back from the stage. The BBC had him mic'd up. Though that's the T where you brought up, I'm like, the BBC,
Hmm.
the BBC was looking for a story.
Okay. Okay.
So the fact that they didn't edit it, the fact that
Hmm.
this guy was mic'd up,
Hmm. Hmm.
is making the BBC, I'm not even blaming him. The man has a problem, right? It's still sus. I'm sorry, it's still sus. But the BBC made this be a bigger thing than it needed to be and gave it more power to ruin
Hmm.
Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo's moment on the stage. That was mad disrespect. And the BBC, I'm putting 50% of the blame on their feet.
So when I saw the actual clips, right,
Mm.
you could hear it as though it was right beside them,
Right,
like right
right.
in the front seat, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, and I found first of all, let me just put this out here. It wasn't said just once. It was said multiple times while they
Okay.
were standing there.
Mm-mm.
And not only
Okay.
that, but it was actually said to another Black woman.
Mm.
She won an award for production,
Okay.
and she was insulted by the same man that had Tourette's. I understand that we have to learn in our society to be accommodating of
Mm.
everybody and understanding of everybody. And I understand that this man had Tourette's. So if you have somebody who is attending a live
Right.
broadcasting
Right.
then there needs to be a 411 sent around to everybody.
Mhm.
Michael B. Jordan and Leroy, they said they didn't know
Mhm.
that this person had Tourette's and that they were out in the crowd. They had no idea. So that
Okay.
means to say your talent, the people who are presenting your awards, are not
Mhm.
wise to the understanding. There might be, it might come across as a heckler, but it's not.
Right.
It's
That's just a
someone
good
who has
point.
Tourette's,
That's a
so
good
that
point. Yeah.
they can actually prepare themselves mentally. But that's why I
Mhm.
had to stop you earlier and give those two black men a round of applause. Sure
Mhm.
do, because even in that moment, they handled themselves with such grace. They really, really did. These are
Mhm.
two black men who are now being humiliated by nobody else knows at this moment that this person has Tourette's
Mhm.
when it's happening. Nobody knows. So the two culprits is BAFTA and the broadcasting place. What did you say? CBS? Is it that CBS?
BBC.
BBC. They had the opportunity to correct all of that. They
Mhm.
had an opportunity to edit that. They had an opportunity, if they could do it for one, they could do it for all. If you're, because from my understanding, the what was actually edited out came before the Tourette's comment.
Mhm.
The gentleman that had Tourette's.
Mhm.
So somebody's not doing their job. Somebody's not doing their job. And so if you can't do it for both, then at what point, who arbitrarily decides what is okay and
But
what's
that's
not?
where it goes to that. My
Right.
end
And
goes. I
so
think they wanted.
those are the two culprits that I'm gonna blame. I'm not gonna blame the guy that had Tourette's, because
Mm.
we don't look at it from that person's perspective. He has Tourette's that is uncontrollable,
Mhm.
uncurable. This is how they have to live, right?
Mhm.
And they too are a part of our society and shouldn't be left out.
Mhm.
And as a black person, I know what that feels like. So I'm not gonna agree for that to happen for them. However, he is humiliated as well, because there are people who don't give a shit if you have Tourette's or not.
Nope. Mhm.
They're going to call him a racist. His life will be changed and altered. They're going to say his Tourette's was an excuse. Do you know how much humiliation he will have to go
That is
through as
happening right
well,
now.
and is
Literally.
presently happening? I'm not taking away from those two black men that had to experience. I'm not. But two things can be true at the same
That's
time.
true. Yeah.
Okay? And they're both parties, all parties in this was humiliated and will have to walk in this. Now, when we look at the two black gentlemen, I'm not going to say they have it easier, because they don't, but they can walk in grace because people will have grace for them. This man is going to be, he is going to be the devil himself, okay, has come down. This is how he's going to be treated. So those two culprits, they are the ones that put these parties in this position. If I was Michael B, yeah, I'm gonna have to find myself in the court office someplace, because this is, yeah, defamation, all sorts of all sorts of things I would be suing for at this point, because there's no rationale as to why it couldn't have been caught and could not have. And if you hear it, it's as clear as day. Okay, so they could have bleeped it, they could have muffled it, they could have done a whole lot of things to alter that sound, but they
Mm.
didn't. So it speaks to those two culprits more, BBC and BAFTA. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd be suing both of their asses. Trust and believe. Trust and believe me. Because what you're not
Yeah.
going to do is humiliate me on a grand stage like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people were writing for them, and there is Jamie Foxx. I mean, I saw the socials. Jamie Foxx was in those comments.
Jamie said
These
it's unacceptable.
celebrities don't normally post in the blogs or on these like news, or I don't want to call them gossip, but these like social media news pages. And he was like,
Jamie said it
you
was
know, he's like,
unacceptable.
nah, he meant that shit. Jamie said a lot, but
Yeah, he did.
in short, he was just like, nah, he meant that shit.
Yeah.
And then the actor Wendell Pierce, He said it's infuriating that the first reaction wasn't a complete and full-throated apologies to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. The insult to them takes priority. Yeah, because they were, making apologies for the outburst, but they didn't apologize to the two men who were
Humiliated.
humiliated. Yeah,
Um,
right.
and one other point I wanted to mention real quickly, and I wanted
Hmm.
you to observe this to see if I'm right.
Hmm.
I've been noticing in the last few years that people are not so much interested in award shows anymore. And I
Hmm.
feel like award shows are going to the nine to
Yes,
be popular.
I know where you're going with this, and I totally agree. I
I'm
think they did this as publicity for the award.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's like award show after award show, there's something, some sort of drama that has to occur in order for them to be the talk of the town. And BAFTA is not really an award show that a lot of people
No,
are
because
interested
British.
in,
Yeah, it's not a big thing here,
right?
but yeah,
So it is a big to the British.
it's big to the British, and it is kind of it's only big if if you're really leaned into film. It's people are, and I pay attention. You just pay attention to it because it could be an indicator for the Oscars. It can give you a clue
Exactly.
on the direction. So
And
it's
that's
not that
the
it's not
only
important. It's
time.
just not as big in terms of coverage and stuff.
And now
But it's
I'm
still a
starting
big
to
deal.
find that more and more of these award shows are like amping up the drama so
Right.
that people will want to tune into their
Yes.
award
Case in
shows.
point, why was the man mic'd up in the first place?
Tell me.
So yeah, I'm actually with you. Yeah, it's not a
Now, in
debate.
this
I
respect,
definitely think it was on
it
purpose.
was on purpose, but it's disgusting that they chose that. You know,
Yeah, I don't think they knew that was going to happen, or maybe they wanted. I don't know, but whatever it was they thought was going to happen, it happened, and they got all the
whether they
publicity.
thought it was or not, you didn't take it out, but the Islamic comment you did.
Right? You did right. So the fact that you
So,
didn't take it out proves that yeah, you
so you
wanted a
did
moment, you
edit.
wanted an awkward moment, and you got it.
You did edit.
Hmm.
You did edit. But because, the N word and racism against black people is like taboo all of a sudden, or isn't taboo,
Right?
or is not taboo
I
anymore.
was like,
They it almost like, oh well, we'll use that instead.
right? We
Instead
can
of
get
having
away
a
with that.
porn
We
show,
can't get
let's use the
political.
nigger word. Let's use that word instead. And that'd be grand. Like that's the logic that I'm starting to see behind the editing, because the editing shows where they were going with this. So there's big push behind Islam and all of that, and the Islamic culture. There's big push, all sorts of news about that, right? And so they didn't choose that, but they chose the N word. Like, really? But anyway, I won't be watching BAFTA. You just lost one. I used to check it out every now and then because, like you said, it is an indicator of the Oscars and who to look out for at the Oscars. But I'm done.
Hmm.
No more BAFTA for me.
um.
I'm gonna do my personal
Okay.
boycott.
Yeah. Hopefully those guys are okay. I think Delroy Lindo did come up with a statement. He was after the fact. He was like, it was. It's not that it was happened, but more how the BBC handled it. And so I'm with you where it's like screw them. Like
Yep,
they have since had statements that clearly apologize, but
they were
you
half-assed
were you were pu-
apology
you were pu- you
statements.
were pussy popping and
Yeah, yeah,
tap dancing
yeah,
around it until
yeah.
you finally
And they
said
didn't
something.
have, towards the ending of that said apology, okay, they didn't mention beforehand. They had an apology but didn't really mention and focus on Michael B. Jordan and Leroy. They didn't do
Mhm.
that. People started to cuss about that, and then they came out with another
Yes, that's the thing.
apology
He's like you
that
guys had to
addressed
get
those
yelled
things.
at
So,
before you
you know
finally
what,
had.
I'm done with BAFTA. You're done. Days are done. So anyway, I don't know if you want to hit on this last topic before we go, but
Yeah. Real quick. So we were talking about Black History. We are talking about interesting moments during Black History, and one of them happened when Gene Simmons was talking about we're not, well, this is not a new sentiment from him, but basically saying that he does not believe hip hop believe belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, arguing that it's not a genre defined by guitar and drums, which he believes is rock and roll, but rather a verbal art form, more like spoken word and stuff like that. This is not new. And he says, has also said, not during this time, but he has also referred to hip hop by saying the quote, I don't come from the ghetto and it doesn't speak my language. And he argues that rap lacks the musical complexity he associates with rock. But yet that is annoying and offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But he also here's the he also acknowledges, because I was getting ready to cuss,
Right?
but he also has acknowledged the influence of black music on rock and roll. So that's kind of where, because I know when we were prepping for the show, that's where
Mm-hmm.
that's the direction I was going. But there is a history of him acknowledging that black music, he openly credits black artists for black rock and roll. And he said, how could you be racist when rock is black music? It's just different black music than hip hop. Rock and roll owes everything to black music. Statement of fact, period. So he has said that. So he acknowledges that. But now here my issue is, I think you brought this up,
Mm-hmm.
he everybody has a right to their opinion, and he's
Mm-hmm.
been consistent with, at least this is actually nothing new. But I do think it's like, Gene, baby, come on. Instead of saying these dismissive quotes on this genre of music, why don't you start the movement to advocate for a hip hop rock Hall of Fame? Or even better, why don't we just have a Hall of Fame of music in general?
Period.
Because it's annoying because you highlighted rock and roll, sorry, hip hop, for not be shouldn't not like, you feel it doesn't need to be, should not be included in the rock and roll Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't acknowledge there's artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you calling out hip hop? It's an
Uh,
art form, but he clearly doesn't respect the art form. And so if you want to be literal and objective, then fine, he's right. But it's also like, oh, slow your roll, buddy. Slow your roll.
if we were able to just understand music is an art form that should not be categorized. Like,
Hmm.
I don't feel like we should even have genres.
Right, it's annoying. Yeah,
It is. It's
they
super
did it for
annoying.
commercial reasons, but now it's
And
like
I understand
outdated.
that,
It's
for the award shows and all
yeah.
of that, for your categories and all of that, I
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm.
But for me, like, I'm not siding with much of what he said, other than hip hop does not belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's my personal opinion. I feel like it should be more towards um, R&B, rhythm and blues, even jazz.
Mhm.
I think it should lean more towards that direction. But that's if I had to choose which direction to put it in.
Mhm.
But generally speaking, I think they're, like you said, yes, when we were talking about it, that we should just have a Hall of Fame for music. And I think, when we start to categorize music, the creativity is almost like a backseat, because genres come together in music all the time, right?
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you take a certain instrument, like a saxophone that is more identified with jazz, and you put it in a hip hop song, or so, music is something that kind of overlaps, kind of feeds off of each other, kind of the creativity should not be limited to one genre. And I agree with some of what he said, and no, this is not new. He's been saying this. A lot of people don't want to put hip hop in the rock and roll Hall of Fame, and I can see why.
Mhm.
Um, I just think that we should just acknowledge music on a whole, because I think it would open up creativity across all genres, and have it open ended. Um, but in terms of, categorizing it for your award shows, I get it. I get it. He's coming from a racist place. I don't care what nobody tells me.
Yeah, because if he didn't say that ghetto stuff, I'm like, what the heck?
But Gene Simmons has always had a little error, just
Yeah,
a little smell, a
just a little
snifferoo
something, something.
of racist tendencies to him. He's always had that, right? So this is not far fetched of an idea that he would say something like this. I kind of agree with his statement on that hip hop is more spoken word,
Mm.
with music behind it. I
But
kind
I
of
think
agree
it
with
has
that.
mature. I think
Well,
that's what it
it
was at the
depends on
beginning.
when we're talking about.
Yeah, at
Is-
the beginning, I could give it that, right?
Yes,
But it has
now
the
not so much.
musicality has definitely come into the art form for the past 20 years, if not more.
Yes, but initially that's not how it started,
No, 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 no.
right? And so initially I could see why he would have thought that it didn't belong, and kind of held steadfast on that idea, and
Hmm.
has never let that idea go, or even let his ideas of music evolve.
Right?
Um, One thing I do want to say is that black music is rock and roll. Rock and roll is black music. If you look at the roots, it is black music. So when I see someone like him say these things, I'm thinking, do you know where rock? And he touches on it a bit, but he doesn't really. He kind of glosses over it. Rock and roll was started by black people. So you've never heard a black person say you don't belong in this genre,
Right.
right? That your ancestors before you, we take someone like Elvis,
Right.
one of his huge songs, Hound Dog, that was created by a black woman.
Hmm.
That song,
Yep.
the original, right? So no one at the time, when they were taking our music and taking our sound, could say, you don't belong in this genre. Nobody could say, you don't belong in this music. They
Hmm.
just took it and evolved it into something else, and then became the gatekeepers of this genre
Right. And
altogether.
here's Gene Simmons still trying to gatekeep.
He's still on the gatekeeping, okay? He's literally knocking on heaven's door right about now, but he's holding on strong, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, but you're holding on to a farce. You're holding on to a lie. So when you say, what he's saying is really, hip hop, black music doesn't belong in this genre. It doesn't belong in rock and roll, because he has now become the gatekeeper of the rock and roll, and wants to leave the history of rock and roll to the side, right? But a lot of people could say that hip hop is the evolution of rock and roll. A lot of people could argue that. And if you were to think back who actually started rock and roll till now, where hip hop is, yeah, it could be seen as evolution of rock and roll, where we now have hip hop. So, Gene, I'm sorry, Gene, but you coming from a racist spot, okay? You coming from a gatekeeper spot.
Yeah.
You're coming from a east.
There is a
You
fair
know,
and logical argument there, but the way he's putting it,
he's
I
coming
don't
from.
know.
He's
I'm not
not
feeling
coming
it.
from that place. He's not. He's
Hmm.
not. He's not. I'm sorry, and it's not surprising, because he's been on this gatekeeping, for the longest. So I'm not surprised to hear him say that. I'm surprised that he's actually giving it more logical, sound reasoning. Um, but ultimately, it's all racist. I don't care what nobody tells me. He's not coming from a spot of, well, I think that we should be pure to rock and roll, because if that were the case, you shouldn't be in it, sir. So let's not go there. But either way, any last thoughts about Mr. Gene?
No,
Time
no,
is
that's it. I think, I think he's a mess. He can have his
Oh.
opinion, but he needs to be logical.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, overall, let's just stop gatekeeping music,
Yeah, yeah. There you go. I like that. That's a good way to end it.
altogether, because I think it's an art form that has been limited because we're gatekeeping certain things, or we're trying to categorize and stuff it into a nice, pretty box, but these are art forms that should always just be free. They should just be free. Just like painting, just like, spoken word, just like poetry. They should all just be free to be what they are, and stop trying to tell people who and when and how can be in whatever and whichever. Either which way, we hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll talk to y'all real soon, promise. Bye.
Bye.